I can't throw no offers to Tank. I'm not. Who am I to throw an offer to the biggest star in boxing? What I'm offering him? What? Like, it don't make sense. So that would have to be on their part, on their team to want to do that. I want to do it. I would love. I want to do it. I would love that fight. I think that's the best fight in boxing if we speaking like skills wise. He's not gonna tell y'all that because however he be thinking, he think the way that he think. But me, truthfully, I think that's the best fight in boxing, and I want to prove to the world who I truly am.
That's SHAKUR Stevenson telling Gilly and Wallow on $1 million worth of game why the best fight and the only fight that he want to have within that 135-pound division is versus Tank Davis. Let's get into it.
Big ball, man, making my end.
What's up, y'all? What's going on, man? You guys already know who it is. It's your boy, Sports God TV, where we talk sports like religion. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, man. Share the content. Jump in the comments. Let's get it cracking. So, yeah, SHAKUR Stevenson, like I said, was on $1 million worth of game with Gilly and Wallow, and they was asking them a series of questions and asking them things like how or why aren't certain fights getting made. And at the end of that clip that I showed you guys, SHAKUR Stevenson said you can name 5 of those fighters, but none of those fighters matter at all. The only fighter that matters to him, the only fight that needs to get made is versus Gervonta Tank Davis. But before I get into the details of what he was talking about in entirety, let me just run down those 5 names who I just assume, or should I say, it's obvious on who SHAKUR Stevenson is talking about. Now, number 1, the undisputed champion at 135. Well, currently his WBC belt is vacated, but we're talking about Devin the Dream Haney. 30 wins, 0 losses, 15 of those wins by way of knockout. SHAKUR Stevenson in that interview mentioned when he enforced his mandatory, that's when Devin vacated the belt and went up to 140 to get ready to have a showdown with Regis at 140. Which Regis said that he's gonna punish Devin Haney. He said that on no level, by no means, he has no boxing skills when it comes to him. He's gonna outbox him. He has no power. He basically said he was going to destroy Devin Haney. The next fighter, Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko, 17 wins, 3 losses, 11 of those wins by way of knockout. Now, we know SHAKUR called out Lomachenko. We also know Lomachenko had a showdown with Devin Haney, which was a very entertaining and close fight. But I personally did have Devin Haney taking that victory. I think the judges was right with their decision, though there was a lot of hoopla and people trying to stir up controversy and saying that Loma won that fight. I think Devin put in enough work to get the job done. When you're a champion, you have, as a challenger, you have to beat the champion. And though Loma put on a great performance, I just didn't think that it was that decisive to beat the champion, so to speak. But Lomachenko clearly came out and said he don't want no smoke with Shakur Stevenson. And as highly skilled as Lomachenko is, I was surprised that he did not want to accept that challenge. We all know, and if you watch my content, that I think very highly of Shakur Stevenson. I believe he is, if not the best, top 3 for sure, as far as the most skilled fighter in the world. And on a recent video, skill-wise, I had it 1, 2, 3 in this particular order: Terrence Bud Crawford, Shakur Stevenson, and Gervonta Tank Davis. The next fighter, Frank Martin, aka Ghost, aka he pulled off a James St. Patrick off of power, 18-0, with 12 of those wins by way of knockout. He was supposed to fight Shakur Stevenson, and at the last minute, he pulled out of the fight. There are many reasons why he may pulled out of the fight. We don't know what he has in store. Hey man, put it like this: if he ain't fighting Tank, because we know he can't fight Devin, because Devin has a fight lined up. I mean, you do have Isaac Cruz out there and maybe George Kambosos, but to have an opportunity to fight Shakur Stevenson, that would have been a way more, I would at least thought, a more better opportunity for Frank Martin, but he pulled out of that fight. And then speaking of Isaac Cruz, Isaac Pitbull Cruz is what they call him, 25-2, with 17 of those wins by way of knockout. He has also came out and said he don't want no smoke with Shakur Stevenson. Shakur clearly said that Pitbull is an average fighter. All he does is stand in front of you and throw overhands and try to be aggressive against a fighter like me, quote, Shakur Stevenson. I will pick him apart. It'll be easy work. And I guess Cruz or his team instructed him not to take on that challenge. I don't see why Isaac Pitbull Cruz would not want to take on that opportunity. Why is that? And then we have Ferocious, the Emperor, George Kambosos Jr., 21-2, with 10 of those wins by way of knockout. Once the undisputed champion at 135. Two of those losses came to Devin the Dream Haney. And he was going back and forth with Shakur Stevenson on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. And they was insulting each other in every which way you can possibly imagine. And he offered up Tank Davis. Kambosos said, basically, Tank is free. Why don't you go fight him? And Shakur replied with, that sounds like some sucker-ish. Why would you throw another man out there when you can take the opportunity to fight me? You are ish. You know what I'm saying? What is it about Shakur Stevenson? 20 wins, no losses, 10 of those wins by way of knockout, that those 5 fighters that I mentioned, basically the solid way to put it is they're ducking him. They don't want the smoke with Shakur Stevenson. in that clip that I showed, Shakur said basically when he was talking about Tank Davis is that Tank is the star. He said, I'm gonna keep it real, I'm gonna keep it 100. Tank is the star in boxing. I can't come to the table with Tank and offer Tank anything. It has to play out from their side if they really want this fight with me. But versus the other 5 fighters, minus Devin Haney because he has all the belts, Shakur should be the A side versus the rest of those fighters. Are they not trying to fight Shakur Stevenson due to money? Or are they ducking Shakur Stevenson due to his skill, meaning the 5 other fighters? Now, to get into the Tank Davis conversation, as far as Shakur goes, Shakur said from a skill perspective, and he said Tank won't admit this, but from a skill perspective, he believes that the only boxer within that division can deal with him is Gervonta Tank Davis. He said none of those other guys matter, straight up. And I agree. I think Shakur beats all of those fighters. He said clearly he's better than Devin Haney. Those other guys I mentioned aren't on his level at all. And the only fight that makes sense really to me as well is versus Gervonta Tank Davis. I think that it'll be a heck of a fight. Both fighters are southpaws. Both fighters have defense. Shakur maybe a little bit better as far as his defense. Both fighters know how to set up punches. But the equalizer within that fight is that one punch knockout power by Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, does he relies on that one punch punching power? Absolutely not. He can box his ass off. So can Shakur Stevenson. The object of the game is hit and don't get hit. I guess it'll just be a chess match to a sense, whereas though it's always who's going to have the better rounds. But again, the equalizer plays a big factor. Hey, the way I see it, if that fight ever happened, it's a 50-50 fight. I believe a true 50-50 fight. What's your thoughts on it? What's your thoughts on all this news that's floating around Shakur Stevenson, and what you guys think that he, you know, as far as what he said, what you guys feel about that, man? Let me know in the comments, man. It's your boy, Sports God TV, where we talk sports like religion, and I'm out. Till the next time.